These triplets hope you enjoy the video and have a nice day. TIFU by pushing my girlfriend too hard. My girlfriend and I were laying down on our bed and watching funny videos on YouTube. She was laughing hysterically at quite a few. So much so that it caused her to let one rip fart more than once. This was obviously not intentional, which made it both hilarious and adorable. After the third time it happened, she said, "I'm really gassy." I took this as an opportunity to quickly press down on her stomach, which then almost immediately triggered an enormous fart. I lost it. It was so funny, and I could feel the vibration as the pressure caused her to fart again and again. I couldn't help myself and kept doing it. This is how I ducked up. After a few successful attempts, I tried for a final push. I wanted to end it on a huge one. It was so funny, and she was laughing so much. I pushed down and nothing. So, I pushed again, but this time much harder. Now this is where I should note that she was wearing nothing but one of my t-shirts. Hence she had no underwear on. My girlfriend sharted. She sharted and then had a severe follow through all over our bed. She was mortified. It went from pure joy to absolute chaos and horror. She was just staring at me blankly, like she had just killed someone. I didn't know what to do as she went quiet, my legs covered in shut. I stared right back, gently held her hands, and walked together to the shower without looking back at the bed or down at my legs. We didn't say a word. I cleaned up my legs before leaving her to clean herself up. She made me promise not to go into the bedroom. I adore her completely. She looked so scared when I left her in the shower and wouldn't let me clean up despite my offering to do so. Eventually, I walked in the bedroom to help. She was so apologetic, although I assured her that it's completely fine. She burst out laughing when I said to her, "Don't worry. You will always be my little shut. Don't worry guys. All good. Luckily I have thick skin and can take a lot of shut." I adore her. TLDR. Pushed my girlfriend too hard for shuts and giggles. Ended up getting more shut than giggles. All shuts and giggles until someone giggles and shuts. Getting comfortable farting in front of your SO is a huge step in the relationship. Getting comfortable shutting on one another is approaching the marriage level. My SO had pretty major hemorrhoid surgery like 3 months into our relationship, which in turn required me helping him with baths, applying antiseptic, and changing his pads in his boxers. Needless to say, we are engaged and couldn't be happier. TIFU by thinking my laser hair removal nurse was complimenting my hole. Obligatory. This happened a couple of days ago, but I've only just psychologically recovered from my utter embarrassment. So, after lockdown ended in my country, there's been a huge sale at my local laser hair removal clinic, and so I thought, duck it, I might as well go for it. So I paid for my 10 visits and set off for the first one, a little nervous, but excited for my new hairless body. Now I decided it would be a great idea to get a full Brazilian, all the way from front to back. Pretty normal, right? The lovely nurse comes in and gives me a brief heads up, explains how it all works sort of thing. So she leaves the room, leaving me to strip down. She comes back in and decides that we are going to laser away the hair around my hole first. All well and good, right? So the instructions I'm given are lay on your right side and use your left hand to pull up your bum cheek. So here I am, lying on my side, hand pulling up my bum, while this lady sticks a laser around my hole. Now, on my left hand, I wear this gorgeous silver ring with a bright blue gem. It was handmade by my best friend's boyfriend, so it's pretty unique. So this lady saw my gorgeous ring and decided to break the awkward silence with a "That's a cute ring you have there." And of course, I happened to forget I was wearing the damn ring. It just made sense in my head that this nurse was complimenting the ring of my hole. Yeah, I know. So, still on my side, I tell her thank you. It'll be a lot nicer when it's hairless, lol. Cue awkward laugh and then silence until I realized that she was not, in fact, talking about my bum. Finished the rest of the appointment without speaking and dashed out of there as soon as possible. Still recovering. TLDR, my laser hair removal complimented my ring on my finger while doing laser hair removal on my hole, and I thought she was saying I had a cute hole. Edit, for everyone asking, this is the ring. It's not super intricate, but I was more impressed that it was handmade and the stone is pretty emo. For everyone asking, my friend's boyfriend has started a jewelry business and I bought the ring to support them. Nothing funny going on there. Nurse, how many carats? OP, about 4. Yeah, I think I can fit 4 carats in my hole. Only 9 more awkward visits to go. Just get a refund at that point. Please provide a reason. The service did not work for me. I broke up with my SO and no longer prioritize a hairless hole. General awkwardness. Specific awkwardness, including the tech complimenting something and mistaking the compliment for your hole. Pain/discomfort. TIFU for not shutting for a month. Obligatory. This didn't actually happen today, etc. So when I was 14 I got into a huge fight with my mother and she sent me to live with my aunt and uncle. It was an incredibly stressful event and combined with my innate shyness about pooping anywhere but at home. At first I didn't notice that I wasn't pooping. After about 2 weeks I began to feel awful and tried, without success, to shut. It had built up so much that I think it was impacted. To top it off, my aunt and uncle were weird about bathroom stuff, partly due to having one bathroom in a household of 5 people, and twice while trying to force it, they knocked on the door and asked what was taking so long, which made the whole thing worse. I didn't tell anyone, partly out of embarrassment and partly out of fear of getting in trouble. They were strict, and I did get in trouble for random things. Another very uncomfortable 2 weeks passed, until one day, a month to the day, that I had first arrived, and the last time I had pooped, I was sent out to rake some leaves, and I was just in total agony. I went back inside, and told my aunt what was going on. She was thankfully very understanding, although incredulous that I had waited so long to tell her, and told me she'd had poop issues her whole life. She went out and got me laxatives, suppositories and a fleet enema and showed me how to use it. At this point I was in so much pain and just sweating bullets and dying for relief. The remedies barely helped matters, but in an hour or so I hopped on the toilet and tried to make things happen. I put both hands on the walls and pushed with all my force, knees up to my chin, straining with all my might. I've since given birth and I pushed harder during this shut than I did pushing out my son. It hurt so bad, and I felt I was straining every muscle in my body to avoid this beast. After 10 or so horrifying minutes I still wasn't having any luck, and I began wondering if I should ask to go to the hospital, but the idea of a doctor digging shut out of my hole was just too much to bear, so I pressed on. After 15 to 20 agonizing minutes, grunting and straining and thrashing and pleading with my ass to cooperate, finally, I heard my first heavy plop. Oh thank God. I cried from the pain and shock and relief. The first foot or so of poop wasn't much easier, it was so hard and dry. I had to twist and strain for a while, but after that it got a bit easier. About 30 minutes in I stood up and looked into the bowl. Have you ever had a shut so large, so complete that it entirely filled the rim of the toilet, halfway up the bowl rising above the water in thick brown and black coils, iced with a significant amount of blood? I have never, and I mean never, seen a pile of human shut like that, and hope never to again. I would say about 3-4 kilograms of shut. About the size of a large round birthday cake. I flushed once, twice, plunged, and got back on the toilet for round 2. It just kept coming. This part was significantly easier, despite the fact that my ass had torn a little in the process of round 1. Round 2 was about 3/4 of the size of round 1. Finally, the flood stopped, and I gingerly wiped, flushed, cleaned the toilet, and emerged from the bathroom a changed person. I ached inside for a few days after, but oh my god, the relief was incredible. I'll never forget that day as long as I live. TLDR, didn't shut for a month, had the most painful shut apocalypse ever, and lived to tell the tale. I quit smoking about 8 years ago now, after smoking for 22 years. I guess you could say cold turkey, because one day I was smoking, and the next day I lost interest and never had another one. I always enjoyed an outdoor smoke later in the evening, after my wife went to bed, and it typically caused the overwhelming urge to poop. I was regular like a German railroad. Smoke equals poop. After about a week smokeless, I noticed I was quite backed up, and I started taking a very gentle OTC laxative, but got nothing. Moved up a notch in efficacy but got nothing. Couple more days go by and I'm taking serious laxatives, doubling and tripling the dosage, but I'm plugged up tight. Did some internet research and concluded I need to go to the ER. Took about 4 hours to get in. Told my story, told them the list of the products I tried, was given some official weapons grade laxatives. They said go home, charge your tablet, phone in sick, change into something easy to open, with a drawstring perhaps, no buttonfly jeans. When you are ready, take the dose, only a single dose, and go sit on the toilet. It didn't soften stool like most laxatives, it stimulated rectal peristalsis. Took 10 minutes, after swallowing the meds dissolved in a glass of water for it to kick in. I shut out Shud from 1974, I shut out Shud from My Neighbor, I shut out Shud from Jimmy Hoffa, I shut out Shud from JFK. Repeated the whole process again about 3 weeks later. Ultimately took about 6 months to learn to poop again naturally, but now I'm number 1 at number 2.